As the border city grows, so too does the police service. As of right now, there are 45 members that make up the force. As for behind the scenes, the detachment is home to 15 full-time civilian staff and a handful of casual workers. Now, earlier this year, police welcomed a new face to the detachment, one whose role is a first for the border city.
I knew from the age of 4, probably, that I wanted to help people or become a mechanic. So I've done both. That's the passions that I have, and I hate seeing people suffer.
It's a sentiment you would want your top cop to have. Inspector Suki Manj is new to Lloydminster, having relocated here from the lower mainland British Columbia. The married father of 2 started calling the border city home in July.
I think Lloydminster gets a bad rap in people's minds outside of Lloydminster, but it's one of the neatest places I've been in. You have everything here. Everything to family orientated, to youth programs. I'm amazed at what's here.
The inspector aims to be as transparent as possible. We touched on many topics when it comes to our city. So I know you just arrived in July, but I want to ask you though, what do you believe has been the biggest policing issue for the border city?
Property crime is a large crime that we are trying to get a handle on here, and we will. It's a matter of introducing some of our crime reduction strategies. Most people are law-abiding citizens, but when they have their homes broken into, it's really hurtful, and it puts them in a untrusting state of mind. So my focus is on that property crime, and that leads to the drugs. Who's selling the drugs, who's using the drugs, and it kind of takes care of that side of the house.
What would you consider property crime? Like, kind of give examples of what that would be.
Theft from vehicles, theft of vehicles, break and enters, theft from property theft.
So when I first arrived here, you heard a lot about gang activity in the border city. You heard about the white boy posse, all that sort of stuff. But lately, this year especially, you're not hearing much when it comes to certain gangs. So do you feel that the gang issue has become, resolved just a little bit more this year?
Criminals don't have boundaries. So there was things that were linked to Edmonton, linked to Saskatoon. A concentrated effort was made. I know our local general investigation section here did an excellent job of gaining intelligence, using that intelligence to take enforcement actions. Many of the top leaders of those organizations were arrested and have put in jail.
So what has been the growing pain so far this year for you?
Property crime. It is something, but where there's money in a community where people are making good money, there's usually a drug problem too, larger usage of drugs. So that's always an issue for us.
So in a city of 30,000 people, do you believe that Lloydminster has enough police officers to get the job done?
That's a question that's always debated, and I think we get tied up in that a little bit too much. But what I focus on is what we're doing and how we're doing it. If we're not doing things resourcefully and to the most efficient way, well then no. In the last year cycle, the city approved 2 new positions, and they're now being staffed as we speak. So there has been an increase as the population grows. So we are in talks, but it involves more than just manpower or resource power. It involves what my plan is. I have to have a plan, and the city has to believe in the plan that I have.
So the Lloydminster detachment is home to a staff sergeant as well as an inspector. So what does this mean for policing here in the city?
It allows my position to focus on the bigger picture things and allow the staff sergeant to deal with the nitty-gritty things of the day. And in a perfect world, which we are very close to having here, is that we're working hand in hand together, and any of the challenges or the stumbling blocks that are faced by our officers in the community are brought to my attention, and I'm able to look at the solution based on everyone's input and talking to our community partners.
So let's just talk about the new building. You guys moved in just in October. You had the grand opening. So not only are you moving files, you're moving desks, you're moving all that sort of stuff, but you also had prisoners at your old detachment at the time. How many prisoners, and how did that move happen?
Well, on the day that we physically moved as a detachment here, we had 26 prisoners, but we didn't move them over on the same day because of we knew there was going to be an open house, and so we had our operations split in two. The prisoners and guards and an officer remained at the old detachment. Well, we're relatively still new in the building, and anytime you move, it's stressful. It's like your personal moves. So for some, it's been more stressful than others. There's been a core group of us that have organized the move and are maintaining the changes that need to happen and making them happen. So overall, I could say that the membership feels positive about the move. Like with all the new space, it's just getting used to it. So we're trying to take advantage of every inch that we have here. So it's an exciting time. I think they feel good about it.
Well, after the break, we'll be getting a behind-the-scenes look into something you normally don't get the chance to see. We hit the streets for a police ride-along to see just what goes on in our city on a daily basis. Stay tuned.